Hi guys, welcome back to the Time Bomb channel with me, the Bombardier, and yep, something a little different for the review today. If you're new to the channel, then welcome. I normally do watch reviews, so we've got a slight departure here. But I've been wanting to talk about these boots for a while now, and due to the lockdown here creating a bit of a watch drought, I figured this was as good a time as any. Firstly, obviously, so we're talking today about the DANNER TANICUS. Apologies for the state of the boots. Yeah, they're not clean, they're not new, but frankly, I don't see the sense in my reviewing something like boots, having not given them some wear and being able to show you guys that I've actually used the darn things. Personally, if I saw someone, if I saw a review of someone sitting here saying these brand new unworn boots are the mutts nuts, then yeah, I'd be switching off pretty quickly. I bought this particular pair of Danners now about 5 years ago. At that time they weren't on general sale in the UK, but they were on special offer in the motorbike shop that I used to use. That's the reason why I got them, otherwise they simply would have slipped past me on the radar. That shop no longer sells these, and Danners since then are now much more widely available within the UK. Even Amazon sells these particular boots. They're on for around £140, £160 at the moment, last look. This is the first pair of Danners that I've ever owned. I've owned many other different types of boots from multiple brands over a period of very long time, and I'm going to start the review by saying that for me, for my feet, and for the usage that I've given these particular boots, I can categorically state these are the best boots that I have ever owned. Quick bit of history on Danner, for those that don't know, they started making boots back in 1932, American brand. They offer a huge range of footwear for a wide range of activities. I've bung some photos up here so you can see those other different models. Just going to pause there while I readjust the camera so that I can sort of pick the boots up, show them around a little bit. So, as I said before, these are the TANICUS Dry. They also make a TANICUS without the dry aspect, and clearly that's for hot usage. And the visible difference being is that the non-dries come with the drainage holes just here, so super easy to differentiate between them visibly if you find yourself buying them. The Danner Dry is essentially their own waterproof membrane, which they sort of then build into the boots themselves, and they combine it with this black mesh lining inside, which is highly breathable. For me, yeah, I chose the waterproof or the dry versions of these boots because for me, when they first started putting Gore-Tex into boots, I jumped at it, as cold wet feet had been a huge negative for me for many years. However, my experience was not great with boots with Gore-Tex, as no matter the brand, the boot brand, nor the socks that I use, the Gore-Tex caused my feet to sweat badly. My experience with these Danners has been radically different. They are way more breathable and equally waterproof. Maybe it's just my feet, but the difference with these and those other Gore-Tex lined boots is chalk and cheese. And talking to cheese, the mesh lining within these works is highly effective in that the breathability is top rate. There is no evidence of cheddar or anything else emanating from within these boots. Typically, on the external side, I would use a waterproof spray anyway, kind of as a way of protecting the materials. But yes, if you're crossing rivers or spending any time in swamps where water's coming up above the boot line here, then yeah, you're probably going to get a little wet, as with most other boots. But for the usage that I've given these, the Danner Dry for me has worked as a waterproofing without issue at all. Moreover, if you're in heavy rain even, and your trousers are at the top here, you're probably going to get runoff anyway from water, slipping off those trousers into your boots. I mean, so gaiters is going to be the way then, obviously, as you probably understand, of keeping that as dry as possible. But anyway, on to the other features. So what we have across here on both sides, you have this little ankle straps, and again on the reverse here, again providing a little bit of extra stability. The external aspect here then is leather. It's what Danner call their rough out leather, which I take to mean simply not polished, and it's a lot more durable. The rest on here is 1000 denier nylon. So yep, it's a little tougher than your wife's stockings. And on mine, as you can see, I have yet to tear or puncture it anywhere. And sort of like abrasion wise, again, there's no rips or tears in it at all. Of course, all of these externals are double stitched, you know, as you'd expect. Yeah, you've got the obviously insole in here, which I'm not going to pull out for you, but below the insole there is some additional heel cushion, which gives you a little bit more spring and comfort. I think it also helps a little bit with the stability on this. Around the top on the inside here, you do have cushioning. It's a light cushioning. I think it makes it really comfortable, but not so much that you feels like you've got a load of marshmallows stuffed inside the top here. You know, it's almost cutting the blood circulation off. It doesn't have that impact at all. You've got a close cut thumb pull on the back here, obviously, which helps with then yanking the boots on. But the thing I like about it is that it doesn't stick out. The usual ones, which are joined just at the bottom here, have a tendency to stick out, then make your trousers stick out over the top, making it look like you've got parapants, and nobody wants to look like they're wearing parapants, do they? Anyway, onto the front with the Danner branding on the frontage here. Another thing that you've got here is what Danner call a lace garage. Strange name. I thought it was just a gimmick at first, but yeah, it's an elasticated, stretchy overlap pocket, and it does exactly what it says. So when your boots are fully laced up, they then tuck up inside there, and that elasticity holds them in place, so they're not dangling out. If that works for you, then yeah, I mean, it works very, very comfortably. But because of the padding on the back, there's no discomfort as they sort of digging into your shin bone or anything like that. So just a way of then keeping laces, things like that, out of the way, so they're not getting caught up on stuff. These laces are the originals from 5 years ago. They're still going strong. I've no need to change them as such. Obviously, you've got metal eyelets here, but they're painted over, and that paint again hasn't come off, and it's not cutting through the laces, causing any abrasion at all. Let's move on to the sole of the boot. The sole, the grip, the versatility with this, I find incredibly good. And it's something that I pay a lot of attention to. I've got my right knee is totally buggered. I've had 4 operations on it now, and as a result I can't walk in straight lines. It means my whole right leg is a little bit weaker, which then causes me to sort of like slip over and all sorts of other silly stuff. However, this particular sole, for me, I've not had a lot of slippage. Clearly I cannot guarantee that you're not going to have any slippage at all, but my experience has shown that they're very, very grippy on multiple surfaces, be it sort of like loose shale, mud, wet tarmac, that kind of thing. I haven't had any issues. You do have these pentagonal sort of grips on here in that respect. Okay, yeah, I can't help wondering if that's really designed to provide extra grippage, or if that's a metaphor for our American cousins in one way or another. But either way, the spacing between those pentagonal shapes prevents cloggage, as you can see here. So most gunk is going to sort of, there's enough space there for all that gunk. Excuse me, losing the camera for it to disperse naturally. Onto the front, there's no internal toe protection here. But again, for me, that's not an issue. But if you are wearing these things for work, that might be a consideration for you. Talking of the toe, the insiding, yeah, as I was saying there, the inside of the toe is slightly lined, but clearly after a few years of usage, that now has kind of worn down a little bit. But anyway, what I call toe box clash, as many of you know, when coming downhill, is when boots really do sort of come into their own and sort of reveal their weak sides. Many times with other boots I've had issues coming downhill where your foot slips forward and then your toes are sort of bashing into that toe box. But again, due to the fact that you've got a stretchy lace on here, and I think the overall fit and the design of the toe around here, for me, I haven't had any issues of what I call a toe box clash. I think overall what works for me with these boots is the versatility and the durability. I've had them for a few years now, given them lots of use, lots of different environments. I can wear them all year round for whatever I want. This summer I was up Pen y Fan in Wales. It was the hottest day of the year in the UK. I think it was about 35 degrees, which is very hot for us Limeys. And yeah, there were no issues with these boots with regards to sort of feeling heavy, foot sweat, etc. I'm also wearing them now at the moment in the winter. It slowed recently here in the UK, which is very rare. But again, slightly thicker pair of socks, and these boots are totally solid. So this again, that sort of like year-round versatility for me really, really works. I can have one pair of boots, changing out the socks, etc., and that fixes things for me. Yes, these might not work for everyone. Clearly, if you live in Alaska, then yeah, you probably already know which boots are going to work best for you there. And on the obverse, if you're living in warmer climes, then you might want to go with the version of these things which is the non-dry, because yeah, then it's going to be more suited to those warmer climates. With new shoes and boots, breaking them in is normal for most of us, but I have to say with these things, I didn't bother, just cracked on straight away with using them, and I can honestly say, hand on heart, I've never had a single blister wearing these boots in 5 years. So, can I say anything negative about these boots to balance out my rather gushing review? Yeah, there's a couple of points to bear in mind. Firstly, let's make sure the camera's picking this up. The first thing is sizing. Just drop that in just a little bit closer so we can get a better view. So I'm a UK 10. These, I don't know if you can see from that, are a UK 11. Now, I don't know if that's just a bad conversion from the US to the UK equivalent, or are they making these boots, a whole size smaller for any particular reason? But yeah, I had to return the first pair as a consequence, and I don't know if you guys know why that sizing is so skewed. Then yeah, it'd be good to hear about it. Also, if you've got wide feet, these might not work. I think my feet are fairly normal; they're sort of narrow to normal. But if you've got flipper feet, then thankfully they offer a wide fit option. Also, running with these. Due to my knee issues, I'm pretty much off running, so the only real sort of what I would call speed work that I've done in these is jumping, short run sprints. So sorry, but I can't really sort of advise as to how these would fare on longer runs. I mean, they're pretty lightweight, I think. So yeah, I mean, I think in general they should be okay. These boots, particular ones, again, if we can see here, the camera's playing silly bugs. Yeah, so these particular boots were made in Vietnam. I know that DANNER make a lot of their boots back in the US. I haven't had any of their US equivalents, so I can't really compare the build quality differences. Again, if you guys have got any experience of their sort of American made as opposed to other country made, please do let me know down below. Sort of damage to the boots, essentially. I mean, yeah, this is coming away just slightly at the back here, the rubber prizing off the leather, but I mean it's minor, and personally I don't think that's a quality issue. I think that's, if it gets any worse I'll simply glue it back on, and I don't think that's a quality build issue with boots that are 5 years old that have been pretty well used. The colourway, yes, okay, so maybe that's a slight neg for some people. In that, yeah, this Coyote clearly means that they are, people see them as being military boots, and I guess they're not ideal in that case if you're aiming for the grey man approach, and as a result perhaps they're not necessarily the ideal urban boot, but hopefully you don't need me to point that out to you. In conclusion, for the £120 that I paid for these a couple of years ago, Appreciate that for not for everyone, maybe not necessarily that reasonable, but I would suggest that they're worth every penny. I've paid a lot more for boots. I've used them less and disliked them more. So these are the real winners. And I guess the only real gripe for me is wishing that I'd had a pair of these when I was a lot younger, as I could have saved quite a few pounds on buying lots of different boots, and also saved a few pounds on or a few packs of Compeed. But anyway, thanks guys. Thank you for time for viewing. I should have another watch review coming up pretty soon, so stay tuned. And until next time, this is your host, the Bombardier, signing off. Cheers, guys.